We were given the triangle sum theorem on the previous one. We're just adding up and making sure that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. Let's start with that. So here we're solving for our missing angle measure. So we've got x plus our other two angle measures, 80 and 66. The triangle sum theorem says that all three angles in a triangle are going to add to 180 degrees. So I combine 80 plus 66. X equals x plus 146 equals 180 degrees. And then I'm solving for x, so I'm going to subtract 146 from both sides. 180 minus 146 equals 34 degrees. Down here, our next one, our missing angle measure, is right here is x. All three angles are going to add up to equal 180 degrees. So I set my equation and I work it down. 90 plus 32 equals 122 plus x equals 180. Subtract 122 from both sides. 180 minus 122 equals 58 degrees. And then our final one, we've got x up here. Again, all three angles add up to equal 180. 78 plus 37 equals 180. I'm going to combine like terms. 115 plus x equals 180. Subtract 115 from both sides. X equals 65 degrees. So that's our practice with the triangle sum theorem. We're going to use some ideas on that to come up with some other ideas. So the other part says study these diagrams, look to understand how the measures relate. So we've got our exterior angles of triangles. Those angles are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The no means that that is not an exterior angle. Okay, so these angles on the outside are not exterior angles. So looking at our triangle on the right, we've got a lot of different things going on there. Okay, you've got up here at the top 80 and 100, we've got vertical angles, 80 and 80. So while those no points or those no angles on the triangle on the left, they're not exterior angles, they are vertical angles to the angle on the inside of the triangle. Our exterior angles, okay, 100, if you notice, they're going to add up to equal 180 with the interior angle, okay? So 80 plus 100 is going to be 180. We've got 120 plus 60, that's going to equal 180. 40 plus 140, that's going to equal 180 as well, okay? You can also see, all right, if we're paying close attention, some other elements that we're going to dive into this triangle. So first, before we get into that, let's take a look. X plus 120, we already talked about this piece in the triangle above. X and 120, we call these linear pairs, which means X plus 120 equals 180. Therefore, I can use that information to help solve for what X is. But I can also do something else, okay? So we've got our exterior angle over here. We also have over on this side our remote interior angles. Okay, remote interior angles are the two angles inside the triangle that are farthest from the exterior angle. So 50 and 70, 50 and 70 are farthest from my exterior angle. So that's why they are called remote interior angles. Okay, they're inside the triangle, but they're away from the exterior angle. Now we've got a couple things going on. Okay, a couple different ways to equal 180. If I'm paying attention, I've got, and I'll recolor it blue here in a little bit, but I've got 50 plus 70 plus x I know equals 180 degrees because that's the sum. The triangle sum theorem says that those angles add up to equal 180 degrees. However, we can also see that by linear pairs, x plus 120 also equal 180 degrees. And if I'm paying attention, I can work this down a little bit further. Okay, they're both going to equal 180 degrees. So since they both equal 180 degrees, they can equal each other. So I've got, and I'm actually going to work this separately, one at a time. 50 plus 70 plus x equals x plus 120. Well, the cool thing about this, 50 plus 70 equals 120. So 120 plus x equals x plus 120. It's the same on both sides of the equation, okay? So the cool thing about this information, okay, the way that I can work this down, and I'll actually work it backwards, okay, because if I said 50 plus 170 equals 120, I could break this back up. I have x on both sides, so I can cancel that out. 120 was a product of, or a sum of 50 and 70, and that equaled 120, okay, which, if you're paying attention, our remote interior angles add up to equal our exterior angle. So our formula that we're going to see on the next couple slides is our remote interior angles. If we add those up, it's going to add up to equal the exterior angles. So it allows us to solve some questions without needing to know what that x is, what that interior angle is that matches up with our exterior angle. Kind of cool. Sorry if I confuse you a little bit, but on the next couple slides, we'll go through some examples that should clean things up a little bit for you.